everything that you edify gets multiplied in your life. And so we're not going to edify negativity in any way. And so I said, if you need to say something about this, just say that one wasn't my best. Here comes my best, right? Just like get something, like you have to replace it with something right.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
All right, we are back. Are you ready?
I already said that. You were already warming up with those before we even started. I knew it wasn't a good sign. Let me guess, you have some jokes.
I thought you had some.
I'm starting to get into this now. I understand now.
You're getting into my jokes.
No, I'm getting into the fact that I think I know when one's coming now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
what's the joke?
what did the egg say to the other egg?
What?
You cracked me up.
Oh, you stole that one from Hunter, didn't you? Oh, wrong button.
See,
Nice job.
you weren't ready for me to have one today.
I wasn't, actually. And what are we talking about?
We're talking about all kinds of good stuff. First of all, it is beautiful outside. I don't know where you live. The sun has all melted here in Idaho. It's like the last week of February. I feel like we're spoiled, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it went from winter to spring in about 2 days.
Okay, but we only had winter, and I'm not exaggerating, a total of, with snow, I'm saying. And I consider winter, like, we're Midwest people. So, like, for us, snow starts a lot of times, it can start as early as October and go all the way till April. At least it's left out in the streets and in the
Are you
yards.
promoting people moving to Idaho? Is that what you're trying to do here?
I mean,
There's enough of them already
I'm a
coming.
fan.
So there's enough already coming.
I'm a fan. You know what's funny is we always clear our throats before we start, and then we always get
Yeah.
we try to do all that stuff.
We've been embracing Idaho for sure. When we walked into church on Sunday, I didn't really even pay attention to what I was wearing, because I know our house full of girls is getting ready for like 3 hours. I threw on what I thought made sense. And I walk in and I was wearing like a camo hat like this. I was wearing, I don't even remember, some what was I wearing? Some kind of like just a t-shirt with a dark blue coat. I had a pair of blue jeans and my cowboy boots on, right? And whenever one of the church members walks up to me, they're like, "You look like you just came back from a high-class hunting trip." I
love it.
I was like, "This is my uniform now, man. I'm in
Idaho.
home." Yeah.
I know. We only had snow maybe 5 times. The kids loved it. And each time it only lasted like a couple of days, I would say. So I'm a big fan. I mean, I'm thankful. So I hope it's getting sunny by you, wherever you are, and it's warm. I feel like a good vitamin C makes you feel so happy.
Yeah, we were, it was getting a little bit nerve-wracking because we did have some snow on the ground for a week or so, I guess,
Yeah.
right? And tennis tryouts were coming up for the girls. And the court still had snow on them.
But nobody was concerned. Like, none of the coaches were. Like, we're still
and the
going
thing
forward.
is, like, there's no place to go for indoor tennis anymore. Pickleball has completely,
Taken over.
taken that over. There's just nowhere to go. And so the one day we were all out there shoveling for about 4 hours to get a court ready because we had our friend Coach Brad coming in to help train them the next day. And then, of course, later that afternoon, it got to like 55 degrees.
all melted.
And you're driving everywhere, sending me pictures like, these courts don't have any snow. These courts don't have any snow. I'm just like, would have been great information earlier, honey.
But who knows? Maybe they had it earlier.
We chose the one that somehow was still in the shade, I guess.
Right.
And so we went and put our work in. But
It's okay. It's good.
Yeah.
Put a little.
So anyways, we've had a good week of tennis training.
We're getting excited here.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because all of our kids have just embraced, enjoying their season of middle school and high school. And I hope every family is doing whatever you can to embrace the seasons you're in. Like I think back and when the babies were babies, when our babies were babies, they're not babies, but I'm going to always see them that way. I loved the sweet, innocent, young stage where like we were all together every day. We played at the house. Like we went everywhere together. I mean, they needed me for everything, you know? And I thought, gosh, can it get any better than this? Mm-hmm. And then they got to like where they were of the age where, they started asking more questions and wanting more adventure. And that's kind of like our season was a lot of lake house fun for us as a family still. They didn't they had their friends, but they were still super family oriented.
Yeah.
And then that's when we also had our Florida home. And we had so many great memories of the two between the lake house and the Florida home in the winter. And now they're in the season of like junior high school. And it's so neat to see them thriving in this new environment. And so one of that is for our family is big into sports. We've talked about it too many times to count, but we really enjoy it as a family. So tennis is coming up for A, B, and C. So for Abby, Bell, and Chrissy, they have tennis. Drews is preparing for a competitive tryout for basketball. He's been in some club sports, right? But now he's moving on to middle school. They have a very competitive. I mean, don't you think it's very competitive?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how many kids try out. It's nuts. I mean, when you have a cross country team in middle school, that's 100 kids, and they're good, right?
All of them.
When tennis in middle school is 105 kids come out, basketball, I don't know how many kids are going to be part of it, but I know they have to have an A team, a B team, a C team, and a D team just for 7th grade basketball and for 8th grade basketball. Like this is, you got to be a performer. We're at the meeting last night for varsity tryouts, and the coach was saying this is the largest number he's ever had tryout before for varsity. There's going to be 2 teams, and they let people on the teams, right? Like the JV team, but you don't get to play if you aren't like the top however many. But for varsity, I mean, I think it's only like 11 boys and 11 girls or something like that. So you're 10 or 11 for each. And so they have the returning people from last year, right, that are coming back that almost are a lock. And then you have to like almost wait till somebody gets kicked out or you really dominate somebody. And so they're doing this whole, there's 36 kids trying out for 4 spots for girls and 4 spots for boys.
Wow.
Right? So
we need 3 of them.
Yeah. And so what he had to do, and he's trying to figure out how to make it as fair as possible. So on Friday, I didn't even have a chance to tell you about all this. Maybe Bella told you a little bit about it, but they're basically putting people into these different pods, these groups, right? So, and then you do what's called a round robin tournament. So like each of our girls in a separate pod. I like that about this coach. He didn't want our girls to have to compete against each other.
I love that.
Because only the person who wins the pod actually has a chance to make varsity. Okay. They're not even a lock, but you have to win your pod. So now he put our 3 girls in separate pods, and then some other girls. There was 4 pods, I believe, for the girls, and then I think they have 3 or 4 other kids in their pod. And he literally did it randomly just by like drawing cards because he's like, I don't know how to do this fair.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it very random. And so now all these girls, they have to go like, and this is like intense because if you lose your first 2 games, you're automatically cut.
Okay.
Automatically cut.
Okay.
You don't even go the rest of the tournament. But if you win at least one of them, then you play everybody else in your pod, and whoever has the best overall record of the pod wins the pod.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So they got to come out strong. They can't be messing anything up. Like it's pressure.
It's intense.
Yeah, and
which kind of leads me
them.
to it's funny how intense it is. It's not funny but it's just like it's interesting, I guess is the word. We were just chatting with, was it Abby yesterday? Because we've been practicing all week. Like tennis has been a priority for last week and a half, the kids have gotten just back into the mental game of it, practicing. Like you said, we brought in a coach to help them.
Yeah, I mean, we spent 5 hours one day with a coach, and
same thing the next day. I think
about
it was
3 the next day,
and then
we'll go out today again. Probably spend 2 or 3.
Right. So every day for the past week,
yeah.
we have been dedicating to the girls being the best they can be. And our goal for our family, if you want to hit varsity, we will help you get there. But no matter what, your best is what we want, whatever that is. So if you don't hit varsity, we want you to then at least be the very best JV player. Be the best. Don't just suck it up and be just dealing with it. Have a good attitude and be excited about it. And so one of the things was that you have been practicing with the kids a little bit. So you've been hearing kind of their self-talk, which is kind of what I want to talk about today now, is how important self-talk is. And there was an episode with Abby and you yesterday. I heard you kind of correcting her on some of her self-talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good because I feel like the best has to come out of our kids for them to be able to make the varsity team. Do you know what I mean? It hasn't always been that way. A lot of times they've been able to kind of just show up, and they're naturally gifted enough where they can get a spot, and plus also their attitudes are usually so good that they just stand out, right? Well, here now it's like, all that's going to be required of you anyways. However, you still got to beat everybody else. And so now, like, you got to get everything working for you that you can. And so that is as much preparation as you can have. The kids have been doing workouts in the off season, which is great. And which is awesome because we've been having to do like the insanity workouts and stuff like that. And they've been getting stronger, and they're going out there this year and they're like, wow, I can't believe how much further I can hit the ball and how much harder I can hit the ball. So that's been working for them. Right. But then, of course, the mental game. Are you able to keep your head in the right space?
Correct. And
then are you keeping your words in alignment, right? Or are you allowing yourself under pressure to mess some of these things up? And you know what? And this is, we're big fans of making sure that we get our words working right. But I kind of feel a little bit bad because like the habit I'm correcting Abby on, I sort of created. And I realize it. So what I mean by that is, we like to have fun jaw jacking sometimes, especially me and Drews. It's kind of a boy love language, right? And so when we're just goofing around and it's just for fun, say we're playing around a simulator golf in the garage, or maybe we're playing one-on-one, but we're just doing it to giggle and laugh. We're not really doing it to practice necessarily. We're just having fun. He's a very sanguine boy, so we have to laugh. And every now and then, like when we're playing and he's like, Dad, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm like, okay, let's see it, big boy. And then he'll like, shoot some shot and I'll almost block him. He'll throw an air ball up and I'll be like, horrible.
Oh, no.
And we just laugh about it, right? Because we're just jaw jacking. But then what happened was I noticed Abby out there on the court and, she's like doing a serve and missed it, but then you have a second serve and she kind of like hit it off the edge of her racket. She's like, that was terrible. She's talking to herself about it. And I'm like, oh, okay, so we got to fix this, because the last thing I want her doing is not only having a bad shot, getting herself in a bad mental state, and then reinforcing it with putting words to it. Right. So just really starting to say, hey, listen, we're not saying things like terrible. We're not saying things like horrible. We're not pointing this stuff out. We're not everything that you edify gets multiplied in your life. And so we're not going to edify negativity in any way. And so I said, if you need to say something about this, just say that one wasn't my best. Here comes my best, right? Just like get something like you have to replace it with something right,
That's good.
And so,
well, we all know we have to replace it with something positive.
Yeah.
We just can't talk negative and not replace it with something good.
Yeah.
And so that's
even Coach Brad, like when they would get out there and he's helping them, he's working with them on serves for a while, and they're getting a little frustrated because he's teaching them how to do it right. And they've kind of built a few habits that aren't necessarily good for them. So it's almost like you have to get worse to get better. And so at first it was messing them up. And he's just like, I was watching, he's so skilled at coaching, both in tennis, but also mentally. And he's like, all right, now take a second. I see you're getting frustrated. You got to get yourself thinking about that going in the right spot again. Okay. Just an extra deep breath. Think about it going in the right spot. He kept saying, you're going to have to go backwards before you go forward. You're getting closer than you think. Okay. So every time you're missing right now, just realize you're that much closer to the right thing happening consistently over and over again. It's coming. It's just going to click.
That's good.
Right. And so
that's good.
I watched them, and then you could see it though. They went from, okay, I'm getting discouraged, into, all right, that makes sense. It's like we all have to shape our perspective on everything. You have to be willing to get your headspace in the right perspective versus just thinking about the circumstance that just happened, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so here they are, so today it's going to be a lot of this. Today I'm going to go out there and work with them again. And we're going to go into like scenarios of what they're going to meet in 2 days for tryouts. I'm going to test them today. I'm going to make them try to beat each other, but I'm going to be watching everything. How's your headspace when you hit a bad shot? How are you recovering? What are you doing? What's your language like out there? What's your posture like? What's your body language like? Are you moping around, or are you just like, let's go, I got this? And so we're going to get all the different components working for them. And just like you said, the reality is we just want them to show up at their best.
Yep.
And when they show up at their best, we'll let the cards fall like they may. And whatever it is, we're going to be proud of them.
And we're going to be excited for whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Frog in your throat?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Jeez.
No, it wasn't that bad. That was a little dramatic.
I got one too. So anyways.
Oh, that's good. We should talk more about this then. We'll do another session on this because I have a couple things written down on how important it is to make sure that we're
You going to bring some jokes next time?
Most likely.
Okay.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.